Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS news for Friday, August 27, 2021. Jamaica has achieved an important milestone in its vaccination program, with more than 500,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines now administered among the local population. Up to 4 p.m. on Thursday, the island was up to 500,605 doses administered. Of that number, 359,675 were first doses and 139,242 were second doses. The remainder were single-dose vaccinations.
We did say that by the end of September we wanted to get to 700,000 doses. We still have some ways to go, but judging from the uptick in take-up, it is for us to meet that target, and I believe it is we are well able to do so.
Government's broader goal is to vaccinate 65% of the population against the deadly disease by March 2022. As the island races to prevent illness and death associated with COVID-19, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is encouraging members of the public to get vaccinated. To do so, Jamaicans are encouraged to make their vaccination appointments online at www.moh.gov.jm or by calling the Vaccination Call Center at 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. Persons are reminded to visit the vaccination site with their government-issued identification or a letter from a Justice of the Peace. Those due a second dose will also need to take their vaccination card. At the same time, the ministry is urging the public to remain vigilant and continue the infection prevention and control measures, notably mask wearing, maintaining a physical distance from others, and frequently washing and/or sanitizing hands. On Wednesday, August 25, the island recorded 463 new COVID-19 infections and confirmed 22 deaths. The new cases moved the total number of infections to 64,294 since the first case was recorded last year, while the death toll climbed to 1,453. Meanwhile, there has been another boost to the country's inoculation program with the Canadian government's donation of 200,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines to Jamaica. The vaccines arrived at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston Thursday afternoon. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton says it marks more than 820,000 doses of vaccines received in the last 4 weeks alone. He adds that since COVID-19 vaccinations began in March this year, the island has received more than 1 million doses of vaccines.
Before the month is out, we're likely to have another 100 or 200,000 doses. The Canadian donation today adds to other stocks that we have, and the message it also sends to Jamaicans is that we have no excuse. In the past, the lack of vaccines was the issue. Today, we have vaccines in storage, and indeed, we have different brands for those who are brand sensitive. And so it really is up to us now as a people, as a country, to go out and to make the vaccines available, manage the logistics, make the convincing arguments, and get Jamaicans out so that we can also build the resilience that others have done and others are doing.
The 3 brands of vaccines now available to Jamaicans are AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, and Pfizer. They have come from various channels, including the African Medical Supply Platform, the COVAX facility, Canada, India, Mexico, the United Kingdom, and the United States. In other news, the country's economic performance for the April to June 2021 quarter registered growth of 12.9% when compared to the corresponding period last year. Growth of 2.3% was also recorded for the first 6 months of the calendar year. The preliminary figures were released by the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, at its quarterly press briefing yesterday. Director General Dr. Wayne Henry says the April to June performance is an indication that the economy has begun to recover. He says the growth reflects the impact of relaxed containment measures that were implemented to manage the COVID-19 pandemic. It was also spurred by increased domestic and external demand for Jamaica's goods and services.
Increased operating hours for businesses, which facilitated higher capacity utilization rates and production levels. An increase in the implementation of residential and commercial building projects and road construction works.
Dr. Henry adds that improved weather conditions as well as higher levels of employment and business confidence also contributed. He says over the short term, it is anticipated that the economy will continue to record strong growth as most industries continue to recover.
For July to September 2021, growth in output is anticipated to be within the range of 4% to 6%. The PIO-JIS projection is for growth in output within the range of 6% to 10% for the full fiscal year.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries will be providing an immediate support of $50 million in input relief to banana and plantain farmers in Portland and St. Mary. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green made the announcement at a virtual media briefing held at the ministry on Wednesday. The support will be provided through the Banana Board. It's in response to the damage caused by the recent passage of Tropical Storm Grace. The plantain and banana farmers in the eastern part of the country were among the worst affected, resulting in a 29% loss to the industries. Minister Green says that equates to about $300 million. On a broader scale, the Agriculture Minister says preliminary estimates indicate that more than 10,000 farmers across the island were impacted by Tropical Storm Grace, with losses totaling $700 million. He is encouraging farmers affected by the storm to contact their nearest Rural Agricultural Development Authority RADA office. With the island again experiencing inclement weather, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, is urging citizens to take the necessary steps to protect their properties. Acting Director General of ODPEM, Richard Thompson, says it's important for residents to remain in a state of constant preparedness as this is shaping up to be an above-normal Atlantic hurricane season.
We are expecting as well 3 to 5 major hurricanes. Major hurricanes being Category 3 systems. Look at your general yard situation. If you have a lot of stuff on the outside, sometimes we tend to have a lot of old stuff that we would throw down in the yard. You have to start cleaning up those, getting rid of them, what you can get rid of, what you have to store, you put them in storage, because these can act as missiles during a hurricane.
Mr. Thompson was speaking at JIS's Get the Facts program recently. Jamaica has been experiencing thunderstorms and heavy rainfalls associated with Tropical Storm Ida, which continues to move away from the island. Persons are cautioned to be careful in flood-prone areas, even as weather conditions are expected to return to near normal by Saturday. And finally, Mayor of Kingston, Senator Delroy Williams, says the feeding program for the homeless is continuing on the No Movement Days. He gave the update at a recent housing development ceremony for the community of Bell Rock in St. Andrew. He says persons can rest assured that the program will continue as normal.
Rest assured that the feeding program for the homeless will be in full swing over the period of lockdown, and albeit in a very organized and structured way to be in keeping with the orders.
7 no-movement days were recently announced by the Prime Minister in a bid to bring down the country's rising COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. 3 of those days have already passed, and the measures continue this coming Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, when only certain prescribed essential workers and exempted groups will be allowed to move. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.